If you guys are struggling to rank up in Rainbow Six Siege, you're probably making one of these 10 mistakes. One of the reasons why you're not ranking up when you're playing ranked could be because you're not playing the right operators. Now, what I mean by this is, depending on the map in certain situations, there's operators that you're going to want to play over others. Now, I understand that perhaps some of you guys are better with some operators than others, but in certain situations, it's going to be crucial to run certain operators. Now, let's take a look at Theme Park, for example. Theme Park is a very defense-oriented map. It's very easy to defend on, and it's very difficult to attack on. Most of the time, if you're attacking, you're going to want to bring a hard breacher and some sort of support operator to help you get the wall, because in every single site on Theme Park, basically getting the wall is going to help you win the round tremendously. Now, if you guys aren't running any sort of Thermite, Habana, or Ace or operator with the MPs, then you guys are going to be at a major disadvantage. And I understand that the way you're going to win is by gunfights most of the time anyway, but getting these opportunities, opening up the walls is going to help you guys, it's going to help you guys succeed way more in the long. Now, the same thing could be said if you're defending on Theme Park. If you guys aren't bringing Bandit, Mute, or even Cade, then you guys are doing a major disservice, and you guys are giving the attackers easy rounds to get. Now, let's say, for example, out of Bandit, Mute, and Cade, you guys are only go with Cade, then go Cade. If you guys are only go with Bandit, then go Bandit. Just go who you're best with out of those three. But most of the time, you're going to want to bring at least one of those three to help you guys defend the sites more properly. Because at the end of the day, if you can't use those operators in a gunfight, then there's no point in bringing those whatsoever. Because most of the rounds are going to end when the entire team is dead, whether that's attacking or defending. Don't bring an operator just because you got to know how to use their utility and know how to use the gun. The second reason why you're not winning more games, it's possibly because you're solo queuing. Now, I understand in some scenarios, perhaps your friends aren't online or you just don't play Rainbow with anyone and you have no choice. But at the end of the day, it's going to matter extremely whether you're playing by yourself or you have a whole squad. Now, obviously, if you guys have teammates that are in game chat communicating, I highly suggest you go in game chat and talk to them. Big thing about being successful in this game is communicating, because you guys all have to be on the same page and talk to each other. That's how you guys are going to win at the end of the day. Now, if you guys aren't doing that, then your chances of winning are gonna go down extremely. So you guys have to make sure you guys are on point with everything else, if that's the case. But playing with a 5 stack or even a 3 stack is way better than just solo queuing, because you have other people you can depend on. Not only that, you can also know they're strong. And playing with your friends or just other people you may have met throughout the game, you can find out what they're good at, what they're not good at, and just play around that. And the more you guys get to play with each other, the more you guys are gonna get better in terms of team chemistry, and all the other stuff is just going to come into play later. The third reason why you're not winning games is possibly because you're hard pinging on the cams every single time. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So just to show you an example, let's say you guys are defending coastline and there's an attacker coming through this doorway right here. You don't necessarily have to hard ping him if you're on the camera and you see him. Most of the time, attackers are going to know there's a default camera right there anyway, so they're going to shoot that out. Let's say they shoot that out and then you hard ping again. They're going to know there's another camera in the room, so they're going to start looking for another camera. You don't want this, because then they're going to know that you're watching them and you want to catch the element of surprise so they don't expect it. So instead, you just want to yellow ping or soft ping them. That way, you're letting your teammates know, hey, there's someone by this area, and at the same time, the attackers don't know that they're being watched. Now, let's say there's 20 seconds left in the round. It's like a 2v1 and you guys are up. Obviously, in that scenario, you can hard ping if you want, because there's 20 seconds left. The attacker's not really going to be focused on looking for a camera 20 seconds left in the round. They're going to be focusing on finding the other two guys on defense to try to win the round. So when there's like 10 seconds left, you can start hard pinging. But if it's like 30 seconds into the round and there's an attacker already in the room, just yellow ping or soft ping them. That way you can still let your teammates know, hey, there's someone in the area, without the attackers knowing that they're being watched. Fourth reason why you guys aren't winning more games is possibly because you're just not warming up before you start playing ranked. Now, if you guys want to be successful in this game, you have to treat it like basically any other sport. If you're playing any sports outside, whether it's basketball, soccer, football, whatever the case may be, the athletes always warm up prior to starting practice or even games. You guys have to do the same with this, because if you guys go in to a ranked game without warming up, your aim could be bad. The best way to do this, just go to training and just go to the target drill. It's going to help you warm up your aim. Obviously, just try to do headshots, because that's the easiest way to kill someone, just by shooting them in the head. Now, you guys can do this whether as an attacker or defender. Just go to the settings and mess around with this, obviously. Now, this is what I always do before starting a ranked game. I just do this for a couple rounds, zones. And you could also take the time to practice with operators you usually don't play. Now, I guarantee you this is going to help you in the long run, especially if you want to improve your KD in this game. This is one of the most important things that's going to get you over that hump. It's just by warming up for a couple rounds before starting your rank games. And if you play with a squad, also make sure they're doing this. That way you could also count on them at times. This is definitely going to help you guys improve very, very fast if you guys want to see progress super quick. So just make sure to do this before you start playing ranked. The fifth reason why you're not winning more games in ranked, it's possibly because you're not even playing on the right settings. Now, let me show you what I mean. The most important settings when it comes to being successful in this game, it's possibly going to be your horizontal, your vertical, and your ADS sensitivity. And I'm also want to point out that having your audio is going to be extremely important. Now, let me show you what I mean. For the dynamic range, there's different types. There's hi-fi, there's TV, and there's night mode. TV, completely forget about it. You don't want to run that. Now, people run different settings depending on what's better for them. Hi-fi is most dynamic and least compressed, providing the most clarity between sounds. This basically means that you can hear a huge difference between the type of noises, whether it's gunshots, people walking nearby. Night mode is least dynamic, most compressed, making all sounds intelligible even at low volumes. What this means is you can hear the quiet sounds louder, which I think it's better to run because you can hear footsteps even coming from a mile away if you have the setting on. With hi-fi, you can just hear other noises more louder and you can hear the difference between them. But night mode, it's gonna give you guys the best sound quality, so I highly suggest you run night mode. Now for horizontal and vertical settings, this is completely on you. You just have to mess around with this a little bit, see what works for you. Now if you see that your aim is shaky and not really reliable, that means you probably have to mess around these settings a little bit. Just a basic standard vertical sense, you want to have it pretty low. Horizontal, you want to have it relatively high where you can still flick on people if there's someone behind you and you need to quickly turn around. But the number doesn't need to be a specific number, just whatever you feel comfortable with. In ADS, you just have to mess with it a little bit, just see what works best for you. If you go a certain number and you're just not really confident with it and your aim's a little bit off, then you just gotta mess around with it, tweak it a little bit until you find what's comfortable for you. But I highly suggest messing around with your ADS sensitivity as well as your vertical and your horizontal. And when it comes to audio, make sure your dynamic range is on night mode. The sixth reason why you guys are losing a lot of games in ranked is possibly because you don't even know the map really well. Let me show you guys an example. So in Oregon right here, this is a no-go. If you guys are doing this in your ranked games, you have to stop. You guys don't want to reinforce this wall right here. Typically what all the high ranks do, they put a rotate on this side and usually leave this wall soft, because now if you guys want to go to the B site, you're forced to come out of this door. And let's say there's an attacker on that window, this wall's open, or there's an attacker unit at this door. They're gonna know that this is the only way for you guys to come out, so they're just gonna sit here waiting for you to come out and they're just gonna kill you. But if you make a rotate here, you can get to B site without having to go through this door and possibly without getting you killed. Another thing, if you guys are reinforcing this wall, you're also wrong. You guys cannot do this. You guys want to make a vault pump or a rotate here just so you can see any attackers coming up white stairs. Having all these angles are going to help you guys be more successful in ranked games, and this is also going to fall in a little bit to the map, to the proper setups on how to defend or attack, which I'll be talking about later. But just having the proper awareness on which map you're on and how to set it up properly, it's going to help you guys in the long run. Now another thing you guys want to do, so if you guys are at any window, make sure you just shoot the glass out. This is going to allow you to hear any attackers are repelling. So if you guys hear an attacker coming up nearby, you could possibly just honestly just jump out and get the surprise on them if need be. They're not going to expect them most of the time. And another window you guys can do this on, it's pretty common, it's the kids window. A lot of attackers like to repel on this window. So if you guys want to, you guys can just set this up. And if you guys hear an attacker repelling up, you can just jump out and kill. The seventh reason why you guys are losing a lot of ranked games is possibly because you're being too aggressive, especially when you're defending. Now, when you're defending, it's definitely better than attacking, but you want to take your time. So what I mean by this is a lot of times people will go for spawn peaks or runouts. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but unless you're really confident, like let's say you're not really confident at all and you're doing this every single time, you have to stop. Because if you're not really confident in what you're doing, most likely you're not even going to win the gunfight, and it's already want to be a 4v5 and you're putting your team at a major disadvantage on defense. The whole point of defending is to stay sight, protected at whatever means necessary, and just hold off for a solid 3 minutes. Now, if you're giving the attackers the upper hand just by going for a spawn peek and dying every single time, then you're doing something wrong. Now, unless you're the best player in the world and you know you're going to win 100% of your gunfights, stop doing this. Now, I've been playing the game for a long time, and even I don't go for spawn peeks that much, just because when you're defending, it's pretty much a guaranteed round if you know what you're doing. So just make sure you're more careful when you're doing this. You don't need to be so aggressive when you're on defense. Now, let's say it's a 4v1 situation also, and you guys have case. You guys don't need to swing the last guy, because that guy can kill every single one of you guys just like that, and you guys lose the round when it's a 4v1, and he doesn't even have case. I have seen this happen many times, and my teammates just don't learn from this mistake, so I'm just trying to help you guys out at the long run. Stop doing this. Stop being aggressive. The 8th reason why you're not winning games in ranked is simply because you're not droning and attacking during your prep phase. Now, guys, you guys cannot be on your phone when you're phase and attacking. I understand it's difficult, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, I do it sometimes, but not always. Having your drone set up in sight is gonna increase your chances of winning the round on attacking. Now, this is just an example. You guys can put your drone right here in this corner if you guys are attacking archives and armory and border. This is a really good spot just so you can see the site, you can see what they're bringing, and this drone can hide itself really well. Now, you're not gonna have the chance to do this if you're on your phone during prep phase, because what's gonna happen is you're not gonna drone, and when you start moving to the site, you're just gonna throw your drone into the room, and defenders are just gonna see it, and they're just gonna shoot it, and you don't have a drone. If you actually use your drone during prep phase while the defenders are prepping site, it's gonna increase your chances of keeping your drone alive. They're not gonna see it, they're not gonna shoot it, and you can see what they bring, and this drone can stay up pretty much the whole round if you hide it in a good spot. Now, this is just one of the good spots you guys can use. Now, a really important thing here too, like I mentioned earlier, hard pinging on the cameras. You're gonna want to do the same thing with the drones. Don't hard ping unless you don't have to. If you see there's a defender right here, just soft ping it. If you hard ping that defender there, it's just telling the defender, hey, you have eyes on them, you know where they are. They're gonna just look for the drone, destroy it, and move away. But if you just soft ping them, they're not gonna know. And you can possibly, so if they're right here on this yellow ping, if there's an attacker outside this window, you can just shoot through the window and possibly get the kill. You don't have to necessarily hard ping it. But if there's 10 seconds left in the round, like I mentioned earlier, absolutely, you guys can hard ping, let your teammates know, hey, this guy's right here, get rid of him. But don't hard ping unless you really have to. The 9th reason why you guys are losing a lot of games in ranked is because you're not playing to your assets. Now, let me tell you what I mean by this. Everybody's good at something in this game, and everybody's bad at something in this game. Let's say with operators, for example. You guys are really good with Thatcher, Hibana, and Ying. Use those operators. Go with the operators you're good with. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there's some operators you're going to want to use on certain maps just to get the wall or defend the site properly. If you're good with Thermite but not good with Ace, go Thermite. Don't go Ace just because your teammates are telling you to go Ace. Go Thermite if you're way better with Thermite. If you're a better Thatcher player than a better Hibana, Ace, or Thermite, just go Thatcher. Simple as that. Same thing on defense. Let's say you're bad with Mew, Bandit, and Cade, but you're a good Jaeger or Wamai player. Just go Jaeger or Wamai. Those are really, really strong operators to defend site with. At the end of the day, what's going to win you guys the rounds is most likely by eliminating the enemy team first. Now, obviously, there's going to be times where that enemy team is going to either plant the diffuser and you guys have to defuse it. But if you guys can't get kills with the operators you're picking, there's no point of you picking those operators. Now, obviously, you can practice using those operators in the training drills and getting better over time. But at the end of the day, you guys need to play who you're good with. Now, the last reason why you guys aren't winning in rank is possibly because you're not setting up site properly on defense. Now, let me show you guys an example. This wall, you always want to reinforce it. If you're not reinforcing this wall and you're defending CC, then that's a big problem. This wall is always going to get open no matter what. Even if you bring Bandit, Mute, or Cade, this wall is most likely going to get open anyway. So you guys have to make sure you're reinforcing this always and bringing proper wall denial, even if it's a Bandit, Mute, or Cade. If you guys aren't doing this, then that's a really, really big problem. You guys also have to make the necessary rotates and vault prompts. You always want to make a rotate here, so that way you guys can go into catwalk through here and not just by jumping the window right here. You guys also want to make sure you shoot the glass on this window so you can hear any attackers outside. You guys also want to make sure you put a rotate right here in this corner to connect red and cash. You want to make sure this wall is reinforced right here and then put head holes on this side so you guys can contest construction from red stairs. Knowing all of this is going to help you guys win the round. If you guys don't know the proper way to set up a site in a specific map, just search it up. I do think think on my YouTube page, I do have a couple setups. If you guys are curious about that, you guys can check it out. But you guys need to know how to defend a certain site when you guys go it, because if you don't know what you're doing, then you guys are not gonna win the round.